Greetings, Geechlings. Geishan Prime here with my review of One Piece Chapter 863, The Consummate Gentleman, which is Jinbei. One of probably, I may have to reevaluate my favorites of the Straw Hats again. It's always changing. But anyway, as brought up by a comment that I got on my last review, I now am using notes so that hopefully, I gotta change the camera a little bit. That didn't change it much at all. Oh well. Anyway, thanks to a comment, I will be now using notes and maybe things will be a little more structured. But anyway, we get an explanation of how the clones ended up in the cake in the first place, which I love that there's actually explanation, which there's plenty of in this chapter. Some was hinted at in previous chapters, but that's fine. It's Brulee's power, obviously. Luffy had caught a bunch of animals because it was, I couldn't remember if it was actually brought to his attention or he actually remembered it from the forest and everything. So, yeah. And boy, does the whole Cake Island have quite the ecosystem. I mean, monkeys, boars, cats, dogs, kind of common, but yeah. Interesting animal selection. Also, due to all the happenings, the Charlotte siblings, at least a few of them, some of them might have not been the Charlotte siblings, have now found out that Opera has lied to them. And that, Jinbei and the others that were in the prison died. Ha ha ha. So, yeah, that's not going to work out for him. Also, via Katakuri, it's brought up that Brulee is helping them, obviously, with the duplicates, and he's like, they're just duplicates, they're refractions on something else. It's nothing to worry about, just find the real one. So, they know that she is somewhat on the Straw Hat side, though they don't know that she's not willingly helping them. So it's all a forced relationship on her part. Then there is a, let's see, how did it start up? Okay, with the cake now being destroyed, obviously Big Mom is just all freaked out, which we find out that it's like, yeah, this almost triggers her scream and everything, like what will happen if something happens to the picture of Mother Caramel. And it was like, because you could see in the background that looked like the Conqueror's Haki scream. So it's like, is it any large trauma that can trigger that? But anyway, so yeah, moving on, we have Big News Morgan, and he was having a field day. It was scoop after scoop for him. I kind of thought that was funny. But yeah, he actually gives us a name for Big Mom's soul-taking ability. Soul Pocus. Which I'm wondering if that's supposed to go along with the witch motif that Big Mom somewhat has. That a lot of people theorize that she had, like, the witch fruit or something like that. Or some kind of magic fruit. I guess all the devil fruits are magic, technically, but you know what I mean. But anyway, and how that works is, which has been hinted at before, back when she took her son, what was his name? It was like grape wine or something. I'm just drawing a blank on his name, but he's dead now. It was like the 16th son or something. He was that big bulky guy, but anyway, it was hinted at because he showed fear, that she took his life. Well, fear is rather crucial, as we find out at the end, which I'll kind of recap on that in a second. But, so that's kind of its weakness, is that fear is a component that needs to be used to initiate her being able to take your soul. Then Pedro and Jinbei are part of Luffy's backup, which he kinda needed it, as we'll later see. And I'll later talk about. Nami, Carrot, and Chopper are hiding out in the cake itself, while Chopper and Carrot were eating on it, which I thought was cute and very much in character. And the let's see, and this has all happened because the mirror was in the cake itself. So so they all exited out of the cake after it exploded from all the Luffy clones. But so they're just kind of waiting, and then they'll help Sanji save his family, his good-for-nothing family, except for Reiju. We want Reiju to survive because she's actually worth saving. But then we have Katakuri has a devil fruit, like he wasn't relatively powerful enough. I thought, is he a jelly bean man or something? No, he is a mochi man, which was labeled as a Logia type. That's kind of confusing. Why is a food being referred to as like an element? But we get explanation of how that power works at least. He's basically a sticky substance and everything, very much like the Doflamingo executive whose name I still don't remember right now. I really should have looked that up, but oh well. We all know who I'm talking about, surely. He was like the last executive to be taken out. But any kind of liquids will basically dissolve it of its stickiness, and then you can be freed from it, as Luffy found out when he got stuck in it in the first place. And I mean, if it can hold Luffy, it's pretty strong. Jinbei is the one who actually saves him. He uses the tea from all those giant teacups that we've seen in the background pouring the black tea, and he used it with his Fisherman Karate to do, I forget what the name of the attack was, but it was basically like just a water ball that surged on forward, so useful. So it dissolves his powers. We know his weakness. That's more than what you get from most Devil Fruit users. Usually it's kind of a slow reveal. Also, Jinbei reveals to Big Mom that he told Luffy about the Mother Caramel picture, which is brought up when Katakuri, when he got Luffy stuck in the first place. Big Mom was like, what are you doing, you stupid child? Do you think I need protecting? And I was like, no, he was going for the picture. She's like, what? How would, and Katakuri's just like, how would he even know anything about that? That's very secret information amongst the family. And, yeah, it's because Jinbei told him, being in the crew for a while, you hear rumors, as he describes. So, yeah, he also wants her to view all of this as a mutiny, and that he's joining the Straw Hats, which Luffy was rather happy about. I enjoyed it too. It's finally confirmed, and he offers to pay any amount of his lifespan to be set free, and that his new crewmates are not harmed, which Big Mom was rather willing to do, because now, which the weakness that was revealed that I mentioned before, she tries to steal his life away, but it doesn't do anything because he shows no fear. He cannot be a part of the future King of the Pirates if he shows cowardice. So Jinbei is a boss in this one, because she's like, oh, well, I don't care what you do after you leave, and it makes us enemies anyway. And she summons up Prometheus and Zeus, and they're in like their evil states, and she was about to kill him. And then he brings up, it's like, well, seeing as you are not taking my soul, I will just offer you a cup of sake, which I believe is supposed to be an honorable thing in Japanese culture, isn't it? I could be wrong. It seemed like I've seen that before. But anyway, I thought it was a nice touch, and it's definitely within Jinbei's character. Also, I mentioned the what was it? Big Mom's soul Pocus weakness. We already covered that, sorry. And then the final point is Brook coming in at the end, which I didn't know it was Brook at first, but then obviously the yo-ho-ho at the end. But he was a boss on a mission, now wasn't he? Coming in with that hammer and just smashing Mother Caramel's face in half. That was a nice thing for him, given that while I was watching Roger's live reaction or review last week or the week before, I can't remember, he brought up that it's like, he jokingly mentioned that Oda must have been watching like the YouTube community for the One Piece stuff, because it was like people were complaining, where was Brook for about a chapter? We never saw him. We saw everyone else, and then he pops up at near the beginning of the next chapter or something, so we know he's actually there. And then I think this was just furthering in on that, so that was nice. Boss Brook is what I'm gonna call him. So yeah, he got in the last good moment of the chapter. So, but anyway, I think that's about it. Overall, I give this my highest review score ever, a 5, because there was explanation for the cool stuff that happened. We got several reveals. Some that were hinted at before, but now they've been confirmed. I mean, and then the whole thing with just Big News Morgan just having a fangasm, if you will, of all the news scoops that he's going to get to do. So yeah, very good chapter. I enjoyed it. So it definitely deserves a 5. But anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Keishlings, roll out.